Good afternoon, everyone. Kindall Tyson here, the owner of Aspire Counseling and Wellness Center, and I am continuing to respond to the questions from the Lady Raiders from Taft High School, the track team, softball team, and some of the volleyball team members. As I stated, they submitted over 50 questions related to just life as a high school student athlete, and I promised them that I would take the time to respond to them. Some of them have been condensed, so we're not going to get 52 responses, but I'm hoping that the responses that you receive are, enough for you to begin to start making some changes, especially since we're at the end of the year. I want to reiterate that me respond as a licensed therapist, as a professional school counselor, as someone with many years of experience in this field. I might be responding in my particular role, but these responses are not to be meant as a substitute for therapy. If you find yourself experiencing persistent struggles with your mental health, symptoms of anxiety, prolonged anxiety, depression, self-harm, thoughts of suicide, or even if you aren't experiencing any type of crisis, I would strongly suggest that you seek out working with a licensed therapist. This is a perfect time of the year to kind of think about the intentions that you want to set for 2025. I'm not one that's big on resolutions. I think about intentions and identifying actionable goals from those intentions. And if beginning therapy is something that you think would be beneficial for you, this is a great time to start. Clearly, you can work with me or many of the other wonderful and licensed professionals in the state of Texas. So I'm going to get to the question. Today's question, and it is, how can I reduce academic related stress without underperforming? Oh, this is a big one. It's like, where do we start? First, I want you to, whomever submitted this question, I want them to define, what does the academic related stress look like for you? When do you notice it? When does it pop up the most? When do you recognize that you're not experiencing academic related stress? And what do you notice to be different in those particular situations and scenarios? And when we can identify when the stressors pop up or when they show up, those would probably be some triggering people, situations, or instances that bring out that stress response as it relates to academics. And so it's key for us to have an understanding of what are the triggers to the stressors, the stressing symptoms that you're experiencing. For me, back in high school, it was definitely taking tests. I hated taking tests. Great student, high performing student, but I had terrible test anxiety. And so when I work with students that want to reduce their academic related stresses, one of the things that we put into place is, looking at and assessing, well, what are your expectations of yourself first? Are there reasonable expectations that you have of yourself and your capabilities? And that doesn't mean that you don't push yourself, because yes, we want you to push yourself, but not to the point to where it's so insurmountable that you're constantly flummoxed. And are there external pressures and expectations that you're having to live up to as well? So we identify those, right? And then I also think about, if you experience less stress, what would that look like? What would success look like for you in a less academically related stress environment? How will you know that you are experiencing more satisfaction and less stress? What will be present? What will you notice? What behaviors, what thoughts, what processes, what routines? This is more of a solution-focused approach. Would you notice that's different from what you're currently experiencing now? And so when we can kind of visualize what that looks like, it helps us create a pathway and set goals to move in that direction. Yes, I want to know what the stresses are. I want to know what the triggers are, but I also want to know what some solutions are. Solutions are really important to help you to begin to take action. Harping on the problem is not action oriented. It's keeping us in this worry cycle that stops us from being Again, action-oriented, engaged in the process. I'm having some allergy issues, so excuse me. I would also have them to think about what are the routines that you have in place. What do your study routines look like? Are you getting enough sleep at night? So attending to their basic needs, sleep, eating well, staying hydrated. What routines do you have in place? And are you asking for help, right? A lot of times students believe that they have to not burden other people with their problems. That's literally what the adults are here for. We're here to support you and help move you through and guide you through challenging situations while allowing you to feel independent and reclaim your autonomy to make, healthy decisions. I would also help you to recognize or teach you healthy self-regulation strategies. So we have deep breathing, there's progressive muscle relaxation, there's guided visualization, goal setting is really important, maybe doing some tapping and different pressure points in your body when you notice those symptoms of stress arise, taking walks. And it's going to be important for you to begin to take breaks as you are working, right? As you're setting new routines, right? Healthier study routines are going to help you to reduce academic related stress. Thinking about what you want, what you're seeking, and as opposed to what you're moving away from and what you don't want. And I think it's also understanding, what does underperforming mean to you? Sometimes success is going to look very different than our expectations, especially if we have outsized expectations of ourselves and our abilities. So it's knowing yourself really well, setting routines, creating a study plan. And sometimes that may also include assessing, where is your time going? Do you have enough time to devote for study and academics? Is there a blend of the two for you to be a successful student athlete? And that oftentimes means that you and your family may have to sit down and take a time audit. And sometimes we remove things from our plate, and sometimes we add other things to our plate. So it's really looking at, what are the things that I'm involved in that actually add to my life, add value, and help me to feel balanced and accomplished. You can't be all things to all people. And sometimes we have to learn oftentimes we have to learn how to prioritize our time. And that would mean that some things take the back burner while other things take more precedence. And so those are some adult decisions, big people decisions that have to be made in order to move you into healthier spaces. And it's also realizing that stress is a part of life. All stress is not bad stress. We have a difference. We got distress, we got eustress. And so when you recognize that you're experiencing persistent academic related stress, it's probably a sign for you to pause and go work with someone to kind of identify, this is what I notice, and I don't like it, and I am empowered to make some adjustments and to do the hard thing. It's working through the discomfort of doing something new. You may not know what's on the other side of this new behavior, and you'll never know until you take action, right? So we test out a particular hypothesis or strategy just to see what could it look like on the other side, and we tweak as we go. So taking risks, calculated risk, healthy risks, working with someone, sharing your true thoughts and feelings, accepting those emotions as they arise, and making a plan for how you're going to move differently in whatever space that you find yourself in. So those are some ways I think that you can reduce your academic related stress without underperforming. Oh yeah, and don't be in denial. I recognized in school math was not my subject, yet I passed with an A because I worked super, 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 super hard. I had and this is me as a senior, head cheerleader, National Honor Society, all these things. And I had 2 tutors, one younger than me and one who was a retired teacher, because math just was not my thing. Yet I got over myself, and I had to recognize, if I want to succeed in this class and continue to do well, I need help. And I have to get over the fact that I need help, which was really challenging for me to do. So admitting to yourself that there's some areas that you're struggling in and you can benefit from some support and you deserve that support and that you don't have to do it alone is really important. So let me know what you think about the today's question and response. And I hope that you stay tuned because I'm going to be providing more responses to the questions offered by the Lady Raiders. Please follow us on social media, Instagram, aspire_counselingwell. Join our newsletter at aspirecounselingwell.com and follow us on YouTube, same handle. Thank you and Happy New Year.